Good evening, everybody. Another fabulous edition of Bird Brain 66 with my good buddy Brian Bretcher on my left or my right. What's up, Brian?
It is all good, Andy. How are you?
Doing well. Just ready to do another card set here. Upper Deck this time, Collector's Choice, not the Collector's Choice SC Special Edition, because that's a totally different set. So we are not looking at that today. We have the, like I said, 95 Upper Deck Collector's Choice, 585 cards in a set, 20 Cardinals in the Cardinal team set, if you were lucky enough to get the two traded cards, which was Scott Cooper and Trip Cromer. Brian and I, unfortunately, were not that lucky because we weren't paying that close of attention back then. We just have the
Right.
18 team set cards. And if you're lucky enough to somehow mail in to get these mystery packs from Upper Deck, you could have hell, you still might not even got the cards. So who knows? You know how that stuff goes. You wind up getting
Absolutely.
five of somebody like, what in the world is this? But anyway, we should move on and go ahead and start. Who you got? Who you gonna start with today?
Alrighty. Well, I do want to point something out the other traded guy is Kenny Hill. Remember, not
Oh,
Tripp.
that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's right.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that. All
Thank you.
right,
Thank you.
coming right out of the chute, was a Cub for a long time, but had his connection. Well, this is even before Tony La Russa, but I really like this card of Rick Sutcliffe, obviously during spring training, signing an autograph. Uh, Here's the back of his card. So he's got a really small thumbnail, but a different photo up top. Before we started this recording, Rick, I was sharing with Andy, was the first pitcher in Major League Baseball history to win a Cy Young in not the American League or the National League, but both leagues. So technically, he won one in each league, which I think is pretty cool stat.
Since we're going back 30 years and we're looking at the team set from 1995, so I know there's a lot of angst with the 2025 uh, St. Louis Cardinal team, but never fear because you could have this actually happen. We have a wonderful 7 game winner right there. There he is, Alan Watson. So things are not always so bad because I do believe we'll have a couple at least double-digit winners this year. At least I'm hoping so. Nice action shot on the front and action shot on the back.
Just to clarify, Andy was showing you that was the Cardinal team leader in
Oh, that's correct. I
wins
did. I think
with
I should have
seven.
pointed that out, of course.
Yes. So love the shot of Danny Jackson. Unfortunately, we got Mr. Jackson off the scrap heap, and he didn't really have that great of a year in '94 for the Cardinals. But again, I like this head and shoulder shot of him. And what's great about this particular set is you get two photos. And so you saw the head and shoulders on the front, and now you get this really cool action shot of Danny pitching. So I wanted to point that out. I love the photos, and I love the extra time that Upper Deck took to put this set together by putting two different photos of the players on the card because that's kind of a difficult thing to do. Or they just painstakingly took the time to do it, which I give them kudos for.
Yeah, I got Boom Boom here. There he is, Ray Langford sliding into the base. Nice action shot there. That's your home run leader. I'm for my so my first two cards are leader cards for the Cardinals in '95. So things not so bad. Ray actually had 25 home runs that year. Always a great outfielder for the Cardinals. There he is.
Glad to
One of,
see that he's also in the Cardinal Hall of Fame. I mean, geez Louise, during some of those lean years, besides Ozzie Smith in the early '90s, I mean, it really was Boom Boom was the guy on the team. Maybe a little bit of Bernard Gilkey, but Ray was certainly the man. All right,
that's
whose
one of
card
my
is
that's
this,
probably my
Andy?
that might be my favorite card in this particular set.
Todd Zeile and Brian Jordan.
Yeah. Brotherly love right there.
I've always I don't know what it is. Brian Jordan has just always had some of the best looking Cardinal cards in the 90s. Maybe a close second would be a Ron Gant, but I love this action shot of him running the
Yeah.
bases or stealing a base, whichever he is doing. But yeah, this is just a really, really awesome card. Love it. What do you have next?
I'm going to go with famed Texas reliever and Cardinal reliever Tom Henke with a spring training uniform on. 36 saves for the Cardinals in 1995. So we'll flip it around. Almost obviously the same date. The photo is probably taken for this particular card. I have to say one thing we talked about previously. I like the cards, I like the photography, but the one thing I don't like necessarily, and not anything to have to do with Hinkie or anything like that, it's the player selection because there's a number of players that aren't on the team any longer, but are in this set, and that's vice versa when we have guys that are on the team that don't appear in the set. So that always kind of sucks. And to me, that's always a bit of laziness on the card company's part.
Right. I would agree with you on that. This one is probably my second favorite card in this set. This is Mr. Gilkey coming around third base after hitting a home run, obviously, and getting a congratulatory, handshake, low five instead of a high five, but a low five from
Mr.
Bucky
Yeah,
Dent.
Mr. Bucky Dent. And I believe that is the only authorized card that actually has Bucky Dent on it in a Cardinal uniform. So that's it, folks. That is the only one. A lot of famed coaches for the Cardinals over the years, and pretty cool to have Bucky Dent on the Cardinals at one time. But even though as a coach, I'm going to take a look at another famed reliever because they had a few cool cards in here. Best of the '90s. There's Lee Smith, obviously Hall of Famer. There we go. Look at that.
So I'm going to put you on the spot. Not that you need to name everybody because that would be impossible and that would take up the rest of this recording. But, starting probably with Al Hrabowski, I mean, the Cardinals have had a fantastic run of closers between Al and again, I'm going to forget people, but you just showed Lee Smith. We showed Tom Hankey. Obviously, we got Hall of Famer Bruce Sutter in there. We got current closer Ryan Helsley. We've had Jason Mott, Ryan Franklin. Todd Worrell, Jason Isringhausen. I mean, the list, Dennis Eckersley, it goes on and on and on. And always thought
Trevor
that,
Rosenthal. How about that? Well,
yeah.
there we go. We'll throw him in there as well. Pretty good guy.
And I'm going to show this one because this is going to go to Andy's point. Here's Mr. Tewksbury, was always a big fan of Bob. Great shot there, great on the back. And what's wrong with this card, Andy?
He's not on the team in '95.
That's right.
So, as we transition this year to a new first baseman, Wilson Contreras, as we speak, that's still in play. They also are transitioning to a new first baseman. There he is, John Mabry. Literally throwing the bat. There it is.
hmm
Kind of an unusual photograph to use for a card, but nonetheless, there it is. No photo on the back of Mabry's card.
Interesting.
Yeah, and
I don't think it.
as you saw, designated on in very bold colors the rookie card for
Mhm.
John. Always liked him. Nice coach for the Cardinals as well. Great player. So,
And one of three stints that he had with the Cardinals.
yep.
He was traded or a free agency, not once, not twice, and then he made a third appearance with the Cardinals. I always like showing this guy, the Cuban defector, Mr. Rene Arocha. Love this shot on the back. Obviously, this is spring training, and this happens to be on St. Patrick's Day, thus the green hat. He was rolling at whatever age he was when the Cardinals won that lottery, and he signed with the Redbirds, pitched 1 year in AAA, and then came on board with the big club and was having a pretty good run as a starting pitcher, and then got hurt, and then pretty much his career uh, derailed after that. So
Yeah,
I believe
I
two
think he
seasons.
was 42 when he signed with the Cardinals.
Yeah.
I was
Who do you have next?
I was just kidding.
Oh, I mean, who knows? I
Nobody
really
knows.
don't.
Nobody really knows. There he is, ladies and gentlemen, the Wizard, still with the Cardinals in '95. Unfortunately, did not get the majority of the starts at shortstop, and that's the reason I had Trip Cromer's name on my brain at the beginning because Tripp actually had the majority of starts at shortstop. But Ozzy gets a very small photo on the back because he has a lot of stats on the back of his card, obviously. Lots of good information on the back of all these cards. And what you got? What you got? There he
Mr.
is.
Geronimo Pena. So this guy, a good shot of him outside of Ron Gant,
I love
and
that. I like that photo.
I do too.
That's out of this set. That's a cool shot right there.
But Geronimo was right up there. I forgot about him. He was right up there with Brian Jordan and Ron Gant with some really cool cards, especially
Yeah.
some of his action shots. One of my all-time favorite cards in terms of an action shot in the collection. I'll have to find it, and we've featured it before as the random Cardinal card of the day, where he's leaping over a guy, and the guy's like three-quarters of the way to be fully, doing a stand up, or not, excuse me, not a stand up, but slide is what I was going to say. But I mean, literally standing up and going into second base to break up, the double play, and Geronimo is actually leaping over him. So quite, quite a cool shot. So who do you
This,
have next?
well, this is going to sound familiar too because he shared time at second base with the secret weapon Jose Akendo, who is not in this set, unfortunately. So, oh boy, that sounds a lot like 2025 is what the is in the Cardinals' plan. So there you have it.
Yep.
I'm going to show Witten. There he is, Mark Witten, hitting Witten. Unfortunately, not on the 95 team, but there he is. He appears on the card. Still nice card. Cool photo on the back. Obviously, look at that. There's the ivy in the back of this one. So pretty cool action shots on these cards.
Everybody remembers his 4 home run game as
Yep.
well. Love this one. Can never have enough Tom Pagnozzi cards in my
No.
collection just because of what, again, one of the main anchors of the team during the lean years. Don't know exactly what has happened here. Obviously, close inside pitch that brought him to his knees to get out of the way. But I like that. It's a different kind of action shot. So again, kudos to Upper Deck for their photography and giving you not one action shot on Tom, but actually one where he's, defending the plate as the catcher and another one in the batter's box as a hitter. So I love it.
Okay, best of the 90s again. There he is. Recognized for the 4 home run game, Mark Witten.
Yep.
So actually, like I do like these cards. They are not insert cards, by the way. They're actually part of the team set itself, which is cool because I do like that once in a while when a card company decides not to drive you up on trying to find all these insert cards constantly.
Well, hold that one back up for a second. I want to show everybody the variation,
Oh,
the signature.
there you go.
So there was a silver signature, and there was also a gold signature, and this one happens to be the gold. So it's the exact same 20 card set, 18, except their signature is either in gold or in silver. I just have a couple of those and don't like to go down the rabbit holes of those kinds of
Yeah,
collections personally, just because it's the same look and feel of the base set. And I'm like, why do I need to have, you know, 4 or 5, 6, 7 different Mark Whiten cards when they're just slightly different?
yeah. I'll throw one more out for myself here, and it's going to be Todd Zeal. Look at that, a catcher who moved to another position. That sounds familiar because that's happening this year.
He actually did a pretty darn good job.
Yeah, I mean, he was solid, after the move. So he did very, very well.
I mean, obviously they needed him in the lineup more so as a hitter, because I believe when he ended his career, he finished on the north side of 2,000 career hits. So he was a hitting machine. It was just hard trying to figure out where to put him, because by the time he got to the major leagues, everyone was discovering that he wasn't as skillful behind the plate as
Yeah.
everyone had thought, or at least has at the scouting report, or at least however the Cardinals sold us a bill of goods. Oh, kind of like they've sold us a bill of goods with some other players. So anyway,
And
Is that everybody?
a lot of similarities between now that in 1995. So that's why we kind of looked at, as we go back, we'll go back by, you know, 10 years and we'll hit other card sets and things of that nature. And the number numeral five going
Yep.
backwards.
So what sort of pop culture do you have for us? You always got something up your sleeve.
Well, let me see. 1995, it was the debut of the Foo Fighters album. I might let me back that up. Debut of the Foo Fighters with Dave Grohl on the first Foo Fighters album, and actually Dave played all the instruments on that particular album, or CD, or what have you. Nice. It was a nice initial run for the Foo Fighters, and obviously he added band members over time and created the Foo Fighters that we've known throughout the. Good gosh, that's been 30. There you go, 30 years. So
30 years, yeah.
a lot of a number of band changes throughout that period of time too. And I can't go without a Van Halen reference because 1995 was Balance. So that was the last studio record, LP, or whatever you want to call it, CD with Sammy Hagar. So
Mhm.
then
And I do.
that was a shame, but as we know, if you're a Van Halen fan, you're disgruntled one way or the other at different times and different periods of the throughout the band's tenure. So
Yep,
you
I would agree.
never knew what was happening, from time to time with the band, but always put out some fabulous music. So there you have it.
So that,
That's what I got for that portion. Go
all
ahead.
right.
What you
Well,
got?
all right. I'll get to my thing here in just a second, but are you going to read the Alex's book? It's kind of on my
I actually have read the book. I have that book. So
okay. What do you give it?
it's good. It's a good read, but to me, it's not. It didn't. I don't know. I guess not a lot of stuff that I didn't probably already know. I think the book that Eddie did with I don't think you want to call him a ghostwriter, but Eddie did a book several years ago before he passed away. It was really, really good. So of the two, I think the Eddie book was much better.
All righty. Well, I'll switch it back here to baseball. So I'm looking at
Okay.
my notes here because I thought I would be able to remember this all, and I know I won't. So in '95, the Braves had that great run of always winning the
Yeah.
NL Central, but falling flat in the playoffs. But in '95, they actually did win the World Series. They beat the Cleveland Indians, which are now the Cleveland Guardians, 4-2. And pitcher Tom Glavine was the MVP. So that was pretty cool. Former Cardinals that were on the Indians team that lost. Tony Pena was a member of that team. So was Ken Hill. And so was, oh, I'm sorry, I said Tony Pena. So that was it. Also wanted to
Was Jake
mention,
Taylor on that team?
no, no, I like what you did there, but no, he wasn't. I think he was still playing down in Mexico drinking tequila until
Okay.
he got
I just want to verify his status.
and until he got the call and
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff. And Wild Thing was still playing in the California Penal League, so just wanted to make sure. But good, I'm glad you brought that up. But uh,
And by the way, that movie did not come out in 95. I
right.
just threw that in there for anybody that's wondering that.
Right. So I was going to mention the Hall of Fame. We had Mike Schmidt go in. He was the lone player that was selected through the traditional voting of the sports writers, and then the Veterans Committee put in Richie Ashburn, Leon Day, and two Negro League players, Vic Willis and William Hurlburt and the Stanley Cup winners in 1995 because I had a coworker who was an absolute freak over the New Jersey Devils, and they won the cup. And their goalie was Martin Brodeur, who finished his career with the St. Louis Blues. So there's what I have in terms of what was going on in 1995 in the world of baseball and a little bit of hockey.
Well, how about a little bit of football? Because that was also the debut year of the St. Louis Rams.
That is correct.
We may feature some St. Louis Rams cards coming up here, and then some Blues cards as well. Maybe some
Yep.
Bucks. You never know. We never know what we got in store coming up.
Mhm. And my wife, Kathy, and I, we were original PSL owners, and we went to a couple of the games at Busch Stadium until the TWA Dome was ready for prime time, and had lots of good memories. And watching quarterback Tony Banks and some other questionable players.
Well, actually, my brother and I went to the very first game at Busch Stadium when they played the Packers, where we got the tickets from an individual who sells tickets that was, let's call him a ticket broker. But the funny thing about that was we didn't really look at the tickets when we bought the tickets. So I can't remember how much we paid for them. It's probably, I don't know, since it was the inaugural game, I think it might have been like $50 a piece or something crazy like that. I don't know. Because that $50 is kind of
Mhm.
expensive for a football ticket. But anyway, we got in there, we realized we were sitting on opposite sides of this stadium from each other. And you got to remember this was before we didn't have cell phones either. So,
Right.
it's like, hey, I'll meet you here at at the halftime and all that stuff. So that was pretty fun, pretty humorous. And
Yes.
I do have something else. Gangster's Paradise was #1 song in 1995. Coolio. But
Mhm.
I actually prefer the Weird Al version, Amish Paradise, because I just find Weird Al to be a fabulous writer, and how he incorporates
Right.
things into his songs. And the #1 movie that year was Batman Forever. There you go. I
Yep.
always liked
Good
Batman,
movie.
but I didn't like all the different iterations of different people playing Batman during that period of time.
Right. There were some lame ones, but
Yes.
that was a good one. So, all right. Well, everyone, we greatly appreciate you joining us for this episode of Bird Brain 66. Again, recapping the 1995 Upper Deck Collector's Choice set. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you like the trivia that we throw in and the music. Just pop culture that we always add to it. So please follow us on this YouTube channel. Please follow us on all of our social media gatherings. And I'm not going to name them all, but if you search for at BirdBrain66, you will find us on many platforms. So with that, again, we thank you and we say until the next time.
All right. Peace out. We will talk to you later and keep collecting.